fine folks of our counseling department. I mean, they are there for you if you're struggling and, you may be feeling hesitant. You're not sure if this is normal. Call us. We have caring Christian counselors who can talk you through that situation that you're facing, and they'll give you some advice. They'll probably also send you a lot more resources to help you with. And do lean on us. We're here, and we want to be that pillar for you.
Mm-hmm. And once again, our website is focusonthefamily.com/broadcast. Well, on behalf of Jim Daly and the entire team, thanks for listening today to Focus on the Family. I'm John Fuller. Join us next time. We'll have Jim Burns back and once again help you and your family thrive in Christ. You're listening to Focus on the Family's weekend broadcast. We'll take a quick break and then return with the second half of this program for your family. Stay tuned. Jim Burns was our guest last time on Focus on the Family, and he made a rather humorous comparison between teens and cats. Cats can be emotional, cats can be mental, cats can be, somewhat moody. And I'm not saying every kid in the world is that way, but a lot of them are. Again, they're moving from dependence to independence. Jim Burns shares some solid examples. You as a parent, help them through the really difficult years. I'm John Fuller, and host is Focus President and author Jim Daly.
It never dawned on us that we're going to have to become students of the teen culture. But, we have to understand some of these kind of things. And again, we can't always do it. So, find the people around you who can help you figure that particular thing out. But if you ever have even a question, get the help. What a suicide assessment counselor is going to do with a teen is say, do you have a time and a place and a method? And they're lethal if they say, I was thinking about killing myself right after the football game because my girlfriend broke up, and the method is a gun, and, I'm going to do it here. They're lethal. Take them to a hospital. Get them the clinical help that they need.
Yeah, and Jim, I don't want to end on a note of desperation here. Right. The Lord is in all of this, and He sees what our kids are going through, and He sees the difficulty. Give me a perspective, a spiritual perspective, so we can end in a note kind of from God's vantage point. Even though things are troubling, things can be terrible, He still is in the midst of all that.
Right. And actually, we have to continue to be reminded that when our God says, I will never leave you or forsake you, when He says, I will walk with you through the valley of the shadow of death, I don't think of our teens on the death side unless we're talking about the most, horrible things. But we have to be reminded that we don't have to do this alone. That with God's help, and I know that for personally, if we were parenting our kids without the input of God, I'm not sure we could have handled it. I'm not sure our marriage would have handled it. I'm not sure our life would have handled it. So, lean on God. Trust in Him, and He will help you with your path. He doesn't say it's going to be perfect, but He does promise to go along with you on that.
That is so true. And I think the key there, I would think that your teens are watching you in that way too. They know what they're doing. And depending upon how you respond to it is communicating a faith message to them. If you're panicked and full of fear, they're going to say, well, I guess God doesn't work for my parents, right? In that regard. And so you have a lot to balance there as the parents, modeling a relationship with Christ, what needs to be done, that sense of peace and joy, even in the midst of pain. They're going to look for that. Is it real in you? Because if it's not real in you, I don't know that I can embrace it. Is that fair?
Exactly. And the Proverbs 10:9 statement, the man or woman of integrity walks securely. And I'm convinced that the man or woman of integrity, that doesn't mean perfection. That means being authentic, having an authentic faith, who walk with God with integrity. Their kids will also be more secure. Right. So we just do the best we can with God's help.
Well, Jim, you've done it, and you've given us a lot of great things to discuss with our spouses, with our teens, with maybe our preteens as well, to start that discussion early. Understanding your teen. That's very comprehensive. I so appreciate it. Subtitle, Shaping Their Character, Facing Their Realities. Takes a lot of courage, Mom and Dad. But I'm telling you, those kind of hard, insightful discussions wrapped in the grace of God is the way to go. And there is no formula. I wish I could say if you do this, you'll get that. But it's a predictive model that if you do these things well, it's more likely your child will do the right thing. And as we said earlier, it's all wrapped in the love and truth of God. So, Jim, thank you for being with us. If you are in that spot where you need understanding your teen, call us and ask for a copy of Jim's book. And if you can make a donation to help us, that would be great. If you can become a monthly giver here to Focus on the Family, to be part of the ministry and help more parents do the job that they're hoping they can do, we would appreciate that. And we'll say thank you for supporting the ministry by sending you a copy of Jim's book. And if you can't afford it, get a hold of us. We'll get it into your hands.
And certainly we have, as Jim mentioned earlier, caring Christian counselors. There are a lot of tough things that you might face as the parent of a teen. We're here to help. We have so many resources and those counselors. The phone number is 800, the letter A, and the word family. Online, we're at focusonthefamily.com/broadcast.
And John, we have a great new tool for parents, also for teachers, youth workers, pastors, called Alive to Thrive. It's really to identify those teens that are struggling, moving toward depression and potentially suicide. It's filled with expert input. Dr. Kathy Cook, who's been on the broadcast, is part of it, and several others. But it equips you to better understand that environment and what you can do as an adult in the lives of these kids who are struggling.
Yeah, check out Alive to Thrive. We'll have details at focusonthefamily.com/broadcast.
Jim, thanks again for being with us.
Great. Thank you, and thank you for the courage and the boldness that every day you do here at Focus on the Family. Appreciate that. Appreciate it so much.
Well, on behalf of Jim Daly and the entire team, thank you for listening to Focus on the Family. I'm John Fuller, inviting you back next time as we once again help you and your family thrive in Christ.
We're so glad you're with us today here at KUAU. High Truth.
News this hour from townhall.com. Our Pastor Fox. President Trump says he can envision a day when he becomes Iran's best friend. Speaking to reporters as he departed the White House for Camp David, he said Iran has shown restraint in recent days.
They had a plane in their sight, 38 people on the plane, and they didn't shoot it down, and I think that was a very...
AM. Weekdays at 8 a.m. here on KUAU 1570 AM, Maui's Christian radio station. Sundays at 9 a.m. here on KUAU 1570 AM.
they didn't cause you to be blind. And that's what God was saying to them. Listen, you may think it's no big thing. It's just a little splinter. That's not a big deal. It's not a big issue. Hello, it's not a problem. But he's saying if you don't deal with it, it's going to blind you spiritually and it'll rob you of life itself. Wow. You know, Joshua, when you read the end of the book of Joshua, Joshua is pleading with them. The same thing Moses said. He's saying, look, be sure that you get rid of the idols and destroy the detestable idolatry of this people and drive them out. But when you get to the book of Judges, which is the next book after Joshua, there's a really sad statement in chapter 1, verse 21. It says, but the Benjamites did not drive out the Jebusites who were living in Jerusalem. And then in verse 27 it says, but that Manasseh did not drive out the people of Bethshan, and lists a number of other places where they didn't drive out, and the surrounding settlements. And it makes this statement, for the Canaanites were determined to live in the land. Now listen to me, the devil wants to bind you, wants to destroy you. You have to understand something. This is a serious battle. It goes on to tell of the tragedy of these tribes. They did not heed the warning, and the end result was exactly what God said. God spewed them out of his mouth. They were taken captive by the Babylonians and were expelled from the land and went into captivity for 7 years. You see, I believe God's speaking to us today, and I believe he's speaking to us as a church. Number one, Paul the Apostle talks to the church today and says the same thing. He says we must not allow evil to be accepted in the church. Now, I know that all of you are angels. You never do anything wrong. You're just so wonderful and beautiful. That's the way you look to me, right? Once in a while somebody will come in that looks like a devil, but other than that, most of you look like me. You're kind, you're loving, and you're wonderful. And I appreciate that. But listen to me. The apostle was deeply concerned about the church because the church can become corrupted just like the children of Israel did. In 1 Corinthians 5, Paul tells of an incident that happened in the Corinthian church. A man had an affair with his father's wife. And here's what was so sad. Everybody knew it was evil, but they prided themselves on being so tolerant. It's funny how we tolerate evil in our culture, and we put down righteousness. We don't tolerate righteousness, but we tolerate evil.
To Growing in the Word with Dr. James Morocco, and this series, The Journey. For more information, to obtain other material, or to support this ministry, send your email to growing@kingscathedral.com. You can also learn more about Kings Cathedral or watch streaming video at kingscathedral.com. Thanks for joining us today for Growing in the Word.
How's it, everyone? You know that time is running out and Jesus is coming for his people. Just like the days of Noah, not many people will be ready. Only this time he's taken his people and his Holy Spirit, and it will be time of great tribulation. Don't be left behind. Come and join us every Sunday from 9 to 11 a.m. across the street from Kuaau Mountain Foodland on Connie Street, KC Polynesian Ministries, and get plugged in and don't be left behind.
for listening to KUAU Haiku.
Did you know that Cairns Cathedral has something going every day of the week? For instance, Monday, Transformation. Tuesday, Young Adult. Wednesday, Senior Saints. Thursday, Spanish Service. Friday, Filipino Service. Saturday, Bus Ministry. And Sunday, Church Service at 7 and 9:30 a.m. and 6 p.m. Hey, CW here, and I can't say it all in 30 seconds. So why don't you come in for yourself and find out? Or call us at 871-7311. Cairns Cathedral Maui.
Have you ever found yourself in a situation that seemed hopeless? A time when there seemed to be no good options and everything just seemed to be crashing in around you? Today we're going to tackle through all of these tough issues on how to get through pain.